So friends, we're going to walk through what we've done and more importantly, why we've done it. All right. So if you are brand new to the Discord, maybe you're watching right now and you've never even joined the Discord. When you first join the Discord, this is now what you're going to see. And again, any questions, feel free to put them in chat. Let me just make sure I have a chat window open, and I do. Perfect. Yeah, go and ask questions in the chat. And at the end of the explanation, then I will go through and answer it as many as I can. So now moving forward, friends, when you, for the first time ever, join the XP Church channel, you are going to be prompted with this page right here. It's going to ask you a very simple question: which best describes you? And you're going to click one of the four options, of course, that best describes you. First one, not interested in faith. I'm not interested in faith, but I'm here to connect with positive people. Maybe you're someone that's like, hey man, I heard you guys play some game nights on Saturday nights, and I'm not a Christian, don't really plan on being one. I honestly don't even want to hear about God, but dude, I'm down for some Marvel Rivals, okay? That'll be the option for you. Second one, I'm open to exploring faith. I'm not really sure what I believe about Jesus, but I'm open to exploring faith and I want to learn more. Maybe you're a Christian seeking online Christian community. So you're already plugged into a local church, but you're just looking to hang out with some other gamers who are also Christian. Then last but not least, you are a Christian looking to get involved with XP Church. This might mean you're interested in joining an XP group, volunteering, giving, or making XP Church your home church. Now, this is going to be important for a few major reasons. Why have we done this? Two major reasons. First and foremost, it's going to help our teams, our staff, our leaders, our volunteers, our pastor. It's going to be able to help us to better serve and connect with the people who join our church. So for example, if you are someone that is not interested in faith, but you just want to attend our game nights, maybe play some games with some nice people, totally cool. This equips us with the information to know that how we can better serve you. So when someone first joins the Discord and they select this role, well, we're going to know that that's what they've chosen. So we might reach out to them and say something along the lines of, hey, so glad you joined the Discord. Heard you're looking for a place to connect with people. We have a game night on Saturday nights. We have this going on. And if you want to come be a part, we'd love to have you. And that person, first and foremost, is like, hey, well, thank you for respecting the boundaries that I've communicated. I don't really want to hear about God. Thank you for respecting that, but thank you for including me and still letting me be around here anyway. If you selected you're open to exploring faith, our teams might reach out to you and say, hey, thanks for joining the Discord. We heard you're open to exploring faith. we heard you're open to exploring faith, and we want to give you resources. So we're like, hey, here's a place where you can ask questions. Here's a place where you can connect in. If you are looking to explore, here are areas in our church in which you can actually do that and begin to explore, which are super helpful. But the second reason we've done this is it'll help us to better identify who our church family is and who God has actually called us to serve. Now, this is an important thing for us to talk through because churches have many purposes, but one of the major purposes of not just our church, but any church, is that churches are called to reach people who are far from God, don't go to church, don't know Jesus, but they're open to becoming a follower of Jesus. But churches are also called to disciple their own church family, disciple the Christians in their church, help them grow. But in order to do that, every church needs to be able to answer a very, very important question. Who is our church family? Who are actually the people in our church? And this is a major way in which we're going to be able to do this. So if you're already in the Discord, you should see that pretty much everything has pretty much gone away for you. In order to fix that, all you have to do is go to channels and roles and select whichever one best fits you. No matter what role you pick, you will have access to certain things in the Discord. We're going to break that down a little bit, but all you have to do is click one of these roles and it'll be open to you. Now, here's why this matters. Because again, everyone needs to be able to answer the question, who actually is our church family? And because the church, we experience a very unique thing as an online church. In a local church, for a local church to be able to answer who is their church family, it's pretty simple, right? Just whoever walks into your building. Pretty much whoever walks into your building is a part of the church family. However, as an online church, it's a little bit more complex than that. As an online church, we have really all kinds of people that join. We have anything from people who are a follower of Jesus, but for whatever reason, God is transitioning them out of their church. They're looking for a new church. We have people who join who they're like, hey man, I am not a Christian, but I just want to play some video games with some people. And then we have people who are Christians and they're like, I'm not looking for another church, but I'm looking for Christian gamers to play with. I mean, all kinds of people. But what happens is, as a church, we need a way to identify like who is actually our church family, right? Like there's a church down the street from my house, but I don't go there. So they would not consider me to be a part of their church family. But as a church, we need to be able to identify who actually is a part of our church family. And so Pastor Amanda came up with a great idea that we really loved and we've decided to run with, that there will be a role in our Discord. This one will not be self-assigned like the ones I just showed you. These ones will be manually given. It's called Church Fam. And a Church Fam role really is for two groups of people. First group is gamers who don't have a church family, whether it's someone who's not a Christian looking to join a church and explore the things of God, or like I said, you are a Christian, but for whatever reason, God might be transitioning you out of your church and looking to become a part of XP Church, which is awesome. But the second group of people that are Church Fam is these are people who they are Christians and they actually go to another church and they really have no intentions of leaving their church. However, they just really believe in what we're doing and they want to be able to contribute. They're like, man, I really believe what you guys are doing. And I want to be able to be a part of XP Church to see more and more gamers come to know Jesus. And we love that. So here's what we'll be doing moving forward, not only as the onboarding, but really as new language that you will probably hear us use pretty often, Church Fam. Now, in order to become Church Fam, there are one of 5 steps that people can take to become Church Fam. You do not need to do all 5 of these steps, just any one of these 5 steps to become Church Fam. Church Fam is people who have taken the step of regularly watching our church services. Very similar to people in a local church. Like, hey, how do we know that you're like part of our church family? Like you come to the church. It's difficult for me to say that I'm a part of a church family if I don't even go to the church services where they talk about the vision of the church, the heart of the church, what God is doing in that church family. Regularly attending our services, part of the church family. Another step people can take is joining one of our XP groups. Another step is people can volunteer to serve one of our serve teams. Another step people can do is they can financially give and support this church. And then last but not least, anyone that's gone through our XP path to become an official member of our church. And again, the reason we've done this is to help better identify who is our church family. Because we recently just did an audit of our entire Discord. If you guys don't know, we have about 1,800 people in our Discord. And this was really eye-opening for us. As we did this audit to see all these 5 steps, how many people in our Discord have taken one of these 5 steps? And we actually saw that out of 1,800 people, 92% had actually never taken one of these next steps. They'd never taken one of these next steps. And there's room on our end to say, hey, we want to do a better job of helping people take a next step. So how can we look at our systems? How can we look at our follow-ups? How can we look at our community engagement? Like, we want to make sure that we are doing our best to actually help people take one of those next steps. Joining a church for the first time can be kind of intimidating. And so we want to be able to do our best to be able to help people take a next step. But as we were doing that, one of the things that we learned out of this 92% is we actually learned that a majority of that 92% who had never taken a next step were actually people who they weren't interested in taking a next step, which is, hey, that's totally fine. They were mostly people who were a Christian from another church who just wanted to be able to join a Discord and play some video games with some other Christians. Now, here's the deal. All people are welcome to join our Discord. And we pray that God would grow and bless and strengthen anyone who is desiring to grow in their relationship with Jesus. I think having a Discord that has a mission to give Christian gamers a place to connect with each other, I think that's a great mission. But one thing I do just want to communicate is that although that's a great mission, it's just not our mission. As a church for gamers, we've really set out to reach people they're far from God. They don't know Jesus. We've set out on a mission to build the kingdom of God in the gaming community alongside our church family. And what I want to really communicate and hope that you hear my heart here is it's not that we don't want people in our Discord. No one's being removed from the Discord. No one's being kicked out of the Discord. But as a church family, we need to be able to identify who is actually our church family, whether it's people that don't know God that are looking to grow in their faith, or people that are actually looking to like commit themselves to this church and that need care and that need love and need community. Because if 92% of the people in our Discord have no interest in actually being a part of our church family, and I hope you hear my heart on this, what becomes challenging for us as a church is anytime that we spend serving people that already belong to another church family and actually have no interest in joining ours, they're just looking for a place to play video games. And the difficult position that puts us in is that anytime we spend serving people that have no intention of joining our church family is time taken away from people who are in our church family. It's giving people a second church before we can effectively give people a first church. So here's what I want to break down, what this means and what it doesn't mean practically. There will be a church fam category in our Discord that only people with the church fam will be able to see. This will be able to give our church fam the opportunity to interact with each other in an intimate way, because here's what every church goer needs. They need a place to be able to talk about faith, talk about life, talk about whatever it might be amongst each other without just anyone and everyone being able to chime in and disagree. Like, Christians need to be able to have a safe place to talk about the Bible together without maybe people coming in and telling us how we all are insane for believing some of the things that we believe. They need that intimate experience. They need a place to connect with one another. And so I do want to be honest and upfront that people that have taken the next step, and here's the deal, we want to help people take the next step. Like, this is not meant to be a way to keep people out. It's meant to give us information to help actually get people in to our church family so we can better effectively love and serve them. So real practically, I do just want to be honest that this will be a church fam category that only the church fam will be able to see. So if you have currently been in our Discord for quite a long time and you wouldn't consider yourself to be part of our church family, if you do want to be a part of our church family, there's steps that you could take and we would love to help you take those. But you may be here and you're like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm not really looking to be a part of XP Church. I think you guys are nice and I like playing games once in a while. Cool. Keep coming to our game nights. We'd love to play some games, get you in Discord, laugh together, crack some jokes, hang out together. But if you are in that category, you will see that, I just want to be honest, there will be some rooms that you're used to having access to that you will no longer see. And our attempt is not to take things away from people, but our attempt is to make sure that we can effectively serve our own church family. So a few things I want to clarify, and then I'll take some questions, is that if you have taken one of these 5 steps to become church fam, but you still do not have the church fam role in our Discord, please reach out to either Pastor Amanda or Mika, who is our church administrator, and we will do our best to talk to you about getting that church fam role, because we want to be able to see people to the next step. Also, we would ask and let people know, like, this whole thing, this is a work in progress. And I know that there may be also some mixed feelings even about the whole thing, but I hope that you can understand, like Pastor AJ preached on last week, we are kind of navigating life without a map. As the world's first church for gamers, there's a lot of things that honestly, like, we have to figure out for ourselves because no one else has done it and we don't have questions we can ask them. So in a local church, it's pretty easy to take care of your church family because it's just the people that just walk in your building. But we have to navigate that in a very different way. And so we would ask for some grace and we would ask for some patience as we try and navigate this. Because what we don't want to do is we don't want to make it hard for people to go to church. Like, that's not our intention at all. But what we've done for 9 years is we've just had it open to anyone. Anyone can, set up a one-on-one meeting with our pastors. Anyone can get community care. And we've just had everything available to everyone. And for 9 years, what we've realized is that we've spent so much time serving the 92% of people who don't have interest in being in our church. They have another church. And so what that's done is it's actually not left us the time that we need to properly care for our people. And we hope that you understand that in the same way that your local church prioritizes the people in its church family, we just also need to prioritize the people in our own church family. This also doesn't mean if you're part of another church that we do not want you here. It just means that we have to make the difficult decision of making sure that we are caring for and responsible for the people that God has called us to shepherd, the people in our church family. And lastly, again, we're not trying to create a barrier to make it difficult for people to get in. We're just trying to navigate what, if I'm being honest, just is a difficult journey of figuring out how do we effectively serve our church family in an online world where there can be all kinds of people who want to join and really have no intentions of being a part. But here's the deal. If you do have intentions of being a part, now we have a real practical next step for you to take to become a part of our church family, whether you're exploring faith for the first time or you're deciding to make XP Church your home. We're just navigating this difficult journey of trying to figure out, God, how do we shepherd your people in the best way? And as of right now, this is the best way that we know how. It may be tweaked, it may be modified, everything's written in pencil, but we just want to do our best to love and serve God to the best of our ability. And I hope that you guys can be along for that journey. Now, here's the deal. Y'all might have a lot of questions, and I want to do my best to answer as many of them as I can. So if you guys are like, hey man, totally get it, cool, can I go hang on Discord? Absolutely. Go hang on the Discord. The Discord should be available for you to go in and, again, just select your role, and the Discord should appear to you. And again, if you don't already have the church fam role, but you have taken one of those 5 next steps, reach out to Pastor Amanda or to Mika, and we will be sure to get you that role as soon as we can. But for those of you that are here and you've got questions, you're kind of wondering, like, how does all this work? Please feel free to get your questions in chat. I would love to answer as many as I can. Prepong, you guys recognize the problem and are trying to fix it is a good thing. Prepong, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Co, how do I know if I'm a church fam? So 5 ways that people can take a next step to become church fam. 1 would be regularly attend our church services. Number 2 would be in an XP group. Number 3, volunteer on any of our serve teams in any capacity. Number 4, be a financial giver or supporter. Or number 5, you've gone through the XP path to become an official church member. And pretty sure that you actually are church fam. So double check, but you should, if you see the church fam category, you should be good. You've been in XP groups. I actually remember when you went through our XP path. So you should be good. But if for some reason, again, if anyone they've taken the next steps, but they still don't have the role, please feel free to reach out and we'll be able to get them to you. You'll know you have church fam if you see the church fam category. Absolutely. Friends, any questions you've got, that's what I'm here. I'm here to answer, here to help, here to be an encouragement any way that I can. I just want to make sure that people can kind of understand what's happening. Minya Bean, God bless you. You're a legend. Come on now. Jesus King on YouTube, I see you. How do I become a member of XP Church if I'm a member of another church? So this is a great question. So it does depend what you mean by member. If you just mean someone who attends, who goes to, then we can have conversations around that. But if you are like an official, like you've gone through the membership to become a committed, accountable member of that church, normally at XP Church, we don't do what we call dual membership, where you're an official member of one church and then also official member of our church. The reason being is we just really believe like it's important for you to be committed to your church. For every follower of Jesus, whether it is in our church or whether it is in someone else's church, it's important for you to be committed to that church. And personally, I think it's difficult to be committed to 2 churches. Like even for the people in our church fam who are already a Christian, they're a part of a local church, they have no plans on leaving, but they've become church fam for hours because they're like, man, I believe what you guys are doing. And I want to serve. I want to volunteer. I want to help you guys reach gamers for Jesus. That's awesome. They help in certain ways. That might be in an XP group. They might volunteer, but they are more committed to their church than ours. And we know that, and we're cool with that. We're like, hey, do you want to jump on ship and help us reach gamers? Come on in, brother. But they're aware of that. They are not attempting to do some dual membership. We do have official membership at our church. And we really, really encourage people to like, I would encourage you to pick one. Pick one church, become a member, give at that church, serve at that church. And it doesn't have to be ours. Just wherever you think God is calling you, that is where I would encourage you to be. So if you're already a member of our church, we'd love to have a conversation, but it would most likely be if you feel God's calling you to stay at your church, then you can just throw up our sermons, listen as a secondary source of encouragement. But if you feel God's calling you to stay a member of your church, stay a member of your church, and we would not have you pursue membership at our church. Absolutely. So Jesus King on YouTube, if that's something for you to think through and decide, right? Which church do I want to be a part of? That's up to you. Where I'm not going to try and coerce you and give you a sales pitch. Here's why you should pick XP Church. Just between you and God. Pray, seek God, and wherever you think he lands you is where you should be. Absolutely. Real Napster, great question. What is considered regularly watched service? I work Saturday, usually pretty chill, but sometimes I have to watch the next morning on the YouTube rerun. So Real Napster, this, I'll be honest, is actually part of probably one of the hardest things that we have to navigate. This is really where the whole like work in progress, we're like testing the waters type thing comes into play. Because here's the thing about our church services, right? They're online, they're live streamed, but they're also available after the fact via the VOD, right? So we actually have some people that, like you, work on Saturdays, can't come to our live services, and so they watch the VOD later on YouTube, or they watch it on Twitch, but they're still hearing the messages. You're hearing the vision and the direction, the heart of our church. They just didn't do it at the same time as everyone else. But I mean, is it really all that different than watching it live? Because the reality is all of us are actually just sitting alone in our rooms, right? So like, is it really a disqualifier? We would say no. We would say that people can definitely become a part of our church fam and even pursue membership if you work on Saturday, right? It's not your fault you work on Saturday, but it does require a complicated step, because here is a few different things. Let me break down the nuances of regular church attender, right? Because it's definitely one that's a work in progress. First and foremost, we actually have a bot that was created for our church that is really helpful for us, that actually can tell who attends our services. It actually can show like how long you stayed, what part you show up for. So if you come for like only the giveaway part, we know. we know. But oh yeah, Tago, we snooping, brother. Like we're able to know. We're able to know. And it's important for us, because then that's one of the ways that we are able to know, one, if you've taken the next step, become church fam, but also as shepherds, we're able to know like, hey, if you're a part of our church, but you're skipping church and skipping hearing God's word, we want to walk that through with you, because we don't think it's good for Christians to skip church intentionally every single week. We also want to know like, hey, we had a committed member of our church who hasn't shown up in like 4 weeks. How are they? Like, what's going on? We should reach out and touch base. However, that sounds great and dandy. However, it only works for Twitch. It doesn't work for YouTube. It doesn't work for Kick. So that's the complicated part. And then two, it doesn't work for people like you who are saying, hey, I work on Saturday Napster, but I watch the VOD the next day. So in that case, we wish there was an easier answer, but as of right now, this is our solution. Just reach out to us. If you feel like you've taken one of these 5 steps, again, regularly attending our church service, are in an XP group, or a financial giver and supporter, you volunteer and serve in any way in our church, or you've gone through the XP path to become an official church member. If you've taken one of those next steps, Napster, so for you, if you're saying, man, yeah, I watch the VODs every week, I would encourage you, like, reach out to either Pastor Amanda or Mika. Just because you can't watch live does not mean you cannot be a part of our church fam. And so reach out. We'd love to help. And one thing that I'll be honest, that right now, that we're trying to navigate is, what does the word regularly attending mean? And I want to share my heart on this, because again, for the past 9 years, this is, oh yeah. And yeah, Phoenix, exactly. Some people, like, it's 3 o'clock in the morning for them. So like, dude, I'll watch in the morning. Totally cool. So here's a really difficult thing that we try to find the balance of, right? The past 9 years, we've just had everything open to everybody. And what that does is it creates a difficulty for our church family, because it's difficult for it to have a sense of intimacy and privacy. If you attend a local church, I want you to think about walking into your church lobby, and 92% of the people are people who wouldn't consider themselves part of your church family. Then as you're trying to like have conversations about your family, some of the struggles you go through, but you're surrounded by, if I could just be honest, 92% of people who are strangers to you, it doesn't feel like a very intimate church family experience. And so we're trying to find right now, we're experimenting, open to changing it. How many times does someone have to come to XP Church so it can be considered a next step to become a part of Church Fam? And the answer can't be one. And the reason why, again, we're not trying to make it hard for people to get in church, but here's why we can't make it one time. Although in a local church, if you come to the church one time, boom, like you're going to be a part. In our church, if you fill out that connect form, oh, we're going to connect with you, even if you first time ever. But in Minya Bean, it's not that you have to show commitment, because what I don't want people to think about church is like you have to earn your way in, right? And that's what's hard about this whole thing, because it can very easily feel that way, like you got to earn your way in. And no, and Minya, I wouldn't even say make a commitment to the Lord, right? Because people who are, that's why we have this role that I showed you all in the Discord of like, I'm open to exploring faith. You have not made a commitment to follow Jesus. You are not a Christian. You don't even know if you think God's real. But as a church, we're gonna, if that's what you click, like we're gonna follow up. We're gonna say hi. We're gonna welcome you if you're not a Christian yet, but we want to serve you, love you. So the hard part all about this is not making it feel like it's a earn your way in kind of thing. But if we give everyone that's been to XP Church once the Church Fam role, then what happens is first of all, trolls can become Church Fam. Like you could just be a troll, and now you showed up one time for 30 seconds, and then we're back to square. Yeah, and then Hoagie's, then we're back to square one, right? Then we might as well just keep it over for everybody. So then we're trying to find a balance right now of like, how often do you have to come to be considered Church Fam? And there's some of it where we're going to take it case by case. There's some of it where we're going to have like a standard. Right now, we're kind of working with, if you show up to XP Church 4 times, so like 4 weeks out of a 6 weeks period, because we understand sometimes people go on vacation, sometimes people work that day. So it's not like, oh, you missed a week of church, not Church Fam, because that would be also bad and insane. But we're like, hey, if someone shows up 4 times in a 6 weeks period, that's right now kind of where we think is like a healthy amount to get Church Fam. We're even talking about maybe doing, instead of 4 out of 6, maybe 3 out of 5, right? Again, it has to be out of like how many weeks, because if you show up once every 6 months, probably not really, really a part of the church. But if you show up once every 6 months, we will know that. And now we're reaching out, we're connecting. We're like, hey, we've missed you. Where you been? How can we pray for you? So we're touching base, right? We're touching base with people to actually connect with people. So I'll be honest, the whole standard of, how many times you have to come to church to be considered taking the next step, it's a hard one that we're trying to figure out. Because again, like Hoagie said, if we give it to everyone who showed up one time, we're back to square one. Trolls would abuse the crap out of that, right? So you mean all I have to do is click this link, put it on mute, and continue to play my video game, and then when service is over, they'll invite me into the intimacy of their church family, and I can just wreak havoc? Well, that's not great either, right? Which is what we have right now. Anyone at any time. I mean, we have people in our Discord just trying to talk to each other about their faith and having a great spiritual conversation amongst Christians, and then someone comes in and is like, you both are stupid. And it's like, well, it's not a great experience for people either, you know what I mean? And so we're trying to find it. Yeah, Pre-Pong, we're absolutely open to 3 out of 6, 50-50. Everything we're doing right now is written in pencil, all of it. So what we're gonna do, friends, is we're gonna do this for the next couple months, get some feedback, feel out how it works, because again, we don't want it to feel hard for people to come to church at all. But we want to find the way to take care of our people. But there's also like, there's room for a case-by-case scenario, right? So for example, if someone joins, and if right now the standard is like 4 out of 6 or 3 out of 6 or 3 out of 5, right now we're 4 out of 6. We might change it to 3 out of 5, but wherever we land, let's say someone comes to church for the first time. They just watch the service and then go about their way. They show up a second time and they're like, you know what? I'm really ready. I'm really ready to make a decision for Jesus. They fill out a Connect card. They haven't come to church enough times for the church fam, but they just made a decision to follow Jesus. Then one of our pastors, Pastor Influence, reaches out to them. They set up a one-on-one call. They get to hear their life story. They talk with them like, man, like, look, what a great story of what God's done here. Like, we also reserve the right to just be like, you haven't come enough times, but like, we're going to give you church fam, because like, you obviously, you got saved in our church. You're now asking questions. Like, you're obviously here because you want to grow in Christ and become a part of our church family. We're not going to be like, all right, we got to wait 5 more weeks. Like, it's all case by case scenario. It's all a conversation. But the beauty of this system is it doesn't work if we don't actually know people. It does work if we actually know people. So you might be here and you might be like, hey, this is like my second or third time here, and I came 2 weeks ago, but then I worked last week and I'm here this week. Today I filled a Connect card. Now that we are able to identify who is actually our church family, who is God calling us to shepherd, we can do a much better job of serving you. Because remember, we have a Discord of 1,800 people, but out of that 1,800 people, 92% of those people didn't even meet these 5 steps. And if I'm being honest, it's pretty low-hanging fruit to just attend a service. So if I'm just be fully transparent, if people aren't even doing that, it's hard to say you're part of the church family, right? People might feel like they are, but I mean, if you're not in an XP group, if you're not volunteering and serving, let me put it this way. If I'm not in a small group at a local church down the street from my house, I'm not volunteering and serving. I am not an official church member. I've gone through their path. I'm not a financial supporter, and I don't even go to the church services. I'm not a part of that church family. I'm just not, right? I'm just not. And so we feel it's very fair and very healthy to be able to make these identifications. Again, not to be able to keep people out, but so we can know who is actually our church. And now, because now we've identified, we have 141 people that are church fam. And even if you're not church fam, we'll be able to know, hey, maybe I'm not church fam, but I just stated I'm open to exploring faith. Yeah, we're going to follow up. We're going to touch base. We're going to connect with you. We want to be a part of your life. And dude, come on in. And so that's really our heart of what we want to do to better help and serve people. All right, let me see some more questions in here. I did see pre-pongs were about 50-50, 3-6. Yeah, and like I said, we're totally open to exploring. Some of it might change. All of this is definitely a work in progress. Real naps, so that makes sense. Honestly, been feeling like I need to join a church with community. While I re-downloaded Discord the other day, as I've been watching church, YouTube, and your stream again for a while, I am good to wait it out 3 more weeks to get the invite. I might be able to fully pay attention every Saturday due to work, but I can at least join and rewatch and miss anything. And so like Real Napster for you, again, this is the hard part, right? I don't want you to feel like I have to always wait for something. That's the hard part about this. Because if we got a guy like you, Real Napster, man, I'm ready to take a next step and really like, I want to be a part of XP Church. I want to be a part of XP Church. I don't want people to like, oh, no, I got to wait a month, right? That's not good either, right? That's not good either. So like we would love, yeah, exactly. Exact spirit. It's not about keeping people out. It's about really keeping people in and caring for people and taking care of people. But when we try to take care of 1,800 people, but 92% of them are really just here to play video games and not actually be part of our church, and we try to split our attention evenly, then the people who are in our church family, they get neglected. And if I'm being honest, for a long time, we have not intentionally neglected. We have not done a great job of serving our church family because it was hard for us to know like who actually is in our church. And this might not even be the perfect answer. It's just it's us identifying we have a challenging situation and we're trying to figure that out. I may come back to you 6 months from now and be like, guys, this was a terrible idea. Like I'll be fully honest. Like we're just seeking the Lord and really trying. Now we don't actually think this is a terrible idea. We think it's a good idea. It just might need to be tweaked a little bit. We had a meeting with our church fam. Church fam really seems to love it. I know Phoenix in the chat is like, I'm so interested in this. McBeck is like, McBeck part of our church fam. I think it's 100% a step in the right direction. So we're just trying. Oh, and I just want to clarify for anyone watching my stream, this has nothing to do with Unity Gaming. Nothing you've heard today has anything to do with Unity Gaming. Just to also super clarify that. This is all XP Church and only the Discord. Only the Discord. All of our live streams can still be viewed and open to Pinky, get out of here, dude. Can still be viewed across all of our platforms by anyone and everyone. Absolutely. Now let me scroll up a little bit because I want to make sure I didn't miss any questions. Rhino, did you have a question, my friend? No, but Rhino did make a comment. My local church I attend, but they know our primary family is our online church. I think they wish sometimes that wasn't true. But they know it and support Sim to myself and that they're awesome people. And that's fantastic. And I'm really glad to hear that, Rhino, because we do the reverse, right? Like we have people even in our church fam who they go to another church. They have no plans on leaving that church. Like that's the church that they consider their church family and their church home. But they're like, but I also feel like God wants me to help in small ways where I can here at XP Church. I want to be a part. I want to be a part of building the mission of God to reach gamers around the world. And so we know that they go to another church. We know that they spend most of their time at the other church. We know that they financially support the other church and not ours. But we know that. But we respect where God has called them. But we're also not going to be like, oh, you want to help with some media? No. We just haven't thought of a reason why they couldn't. Now, anyone that does want to be a part of, anyone that does want to volunteer in any capacity, if you go from another church, we do have an XP Path Week 1 that shares about the vision, the doctrine, about who our church is, because we do think that if people are going to join our team in any capacity, they need to know, it's important for them to know what they're joining, our culture. We have a culture here at the church that we want to protect and that we want to build and see go out in the world. And so it's important for people to know what that is if they're going to come support and be a part of it. Phoenix, some people don't get 100% online church, but guys, we experience community here. There's a quick little mission statement plug for you. Get plugged in XP groups, find your people, hang on the Discord. XP Church is a real church. And honestly, I think for those of you that are a part of our church fam, or that are looking to pursue becoming part of our church fam, honestly, I think this is going to be a much healthier, a much intimate is the word we've been using, a much more intimate experience. Because when you join a Discord of 1,800 people, it's very easy to feel like you don't know anyone. It's very easy to feel like there's no connection. And the truth is, now that we've identified this church fam role, we have 141 church fam. 141 church fam. That may change over the next couple of days, couple of weeks, as more people take that next step, which would be great. Want to invite you to take that next step. But man, 141 is very different than 1,800, right? It's very, very, very different. So now when you realize that, you begin to realize hey, we have a big Discord, but we're really actually not a big church. Actually not a big church. And so it creates a very different environment where now, instead of seeing 1,800 people talking in general chat, the church fam, they see 141 people. Now they're more familiar with people. They're building closer relationship. They're joining an XP group. They're playing games. They're connecting. They're hanging out, and it really does create a more intimate experience. Truth is, I was in a local church for around 25 years. All of my life, I was a part of the worship team. I'm looking at Chachusky. I know. I was there almost every Sunday day of my life. Only one person reached out to me and seemed to care when I left. Yeah, and that's what we don't want to happen in our church. But if I'm being honest, when there are 1,800 people with all different levels of interest about even being in our church, I'll be honest, it just begins to feel impossible to care for all of them. And when I say care, I don't mean emotionally. I mean like actually take the time and get to know them, pray for them, know how their family is doing, like actually know people. And some of that is because it's so many people, it's challenging to take care of. But another part of it is just if they are here and they're like, oh yeah, I just want, like, I watched Susie stream and I think he's a nice guy. So I joined the XP church and then muted all of it, threw it in a folder in the very, very, very bottom of my Discord and have no plans of ever interacting. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard for us to know like who's who, you know? It's hard for us to know who's who. So I really, really, really am excited that I think this is going to be a really great direction for our church. And we're so thankful that for people that are not a part of our church fam, I'm so thankful that people are being blessed and encouraged by our sermons, our messages, even guys for my personal stream. I have so many people who watch my personal stream and they're encouraged and they grow in their faith. They're not even in the XP Church Discord. They're like, bro, I got my own church, but I think the Susie guy, like, it's funny, and I think he's got some good things to say about the Bible. But like, I'm not a part of the church, so it's all really helpful for us to be able to know that.